The maid picks up the jewelry and laughs, saying, "Finally, all this will be mine. Now no one will suspect me." She hides the jewelry inside a watermelon tied to her stomach. A little girl sees the maid doing this. She quickly runs to her mother and says, "Mama, Mama." Her mother asks, "What happened, my dear?" The girl says, "The maid took your jewelry." The mother replies, "What? No, my dear. Calm down. The maid can never do that." The girl insists, "But I'm telling the truth. I saw her with my own eyes." Just then the maid comes in and says, "Ma'am, I've finished all the cleaning. Now I'll go home." The mother stops her and tells her daughter to go to her room. Then she says to the maid, "Give me your bag." The maid replies, "My bag? But why, ma'am?" The mother says, "My daughter says you took my jewelry." The maid says, "Ma'am, I can never do such a thing." The mother says again, "Give me your bag." The maid gives the bag and says, "See, there's nothing inside." The mother checks but finds no jewelry. Then the mother says, "Show me your apron." The maid gets nervous and says, "There's nothing in that either. See for yourself." The mother checks and it's empty too. She says, "Oh, I feel so embarrassed. I'm sorry. My daughter just said it, so I got worried." The maid says, "No problem, ma'am. Kids sometimes say such things, but I think I should go now." The mother says, "I'll walk you to the door." The little girl quietly takes a rope and ties one end somewhere. As the maid walks out, the girl pulls the rope. The maid trips and falls. When she gets up, the watermelon tied to her belly falls off and the jewelry comes out of it. The girl says, "Mama, I told you. See, she was stealing your jewelry." The mother says, "How could you do this? I'm calling the police right now." The maid pleads, "No, no, ma'am. Please listen. I'll tell you everything, but your daughter shouldn't hear it." The mother sends her daughter to the room and says, "Okay, now explain." Flashback a few weeks ago. It was the maid's first day at work. The man of the house came to her and said, "Oh, you're the new maid. You look very nice." The maid said, "What are you doing?" "Stay away. I'll tell madam everything." The man said, "You won't tell anyone or you'll lose your job." The maid replied, "No, please. I need this job. My son is sick." The man gave her a revealing dress and said, "This will be your new uniform now." The maid said, "What? I can't wear this?" The man said, "Then leave the job," and walked away. The maid said to herself, "What should I do? Today is my last day. I must do something for my son." Then she got a call from the hospital. "Ma'am, you haven't paid the hospital bills." The maid said, "Please give me a little more time. I'll arrange the money today." That's why she decided to steal the jewelry. Back to the present. The maid tells the woman, "Ma'am, your husband is not a good man. He treated me badly. Just give me one chance. I'll prove everything." Next day, the maid goes to the man and says, "I've decided I'll do what you said." The man says, "Good. Now you'll be happy if you listen to me." The maid says, "Yes, but don't tell madam anything." But the man's wife had seen and heard everything. The man says, "She's so innocent. She doesn't even know I've done this with other maids too." Suddenly, the wife pulls him and says, "That's enough. I heard everything." The man says, "She's lying." The woman calls the police. The man gets scared. When the police arrive, the woman says, "He abused the maid and other female workers." The police arrest the man. The woman says sorry to the maid. The maid says, "It's okay, ma'am. I did it for my son." The woman gives the maid some money and says, "This is for your son's treatment." The maid becomes happy and says, "Thank you, ma'am. Now my son will get better." If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.